everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Special Needs on the Table, with your host, Alyssa Apostolopolous.
And me, Yomi, Karade. Today we are talking about inclusion and festivals. And today we have a lovely guest. Her name is Amy. She's Executive Director of Accessible Festivals and the co-founder of Inclusion Festival. Amy, hello, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks so much for having me, and thanks for all you do to support this community.
We're so happy. Yeah, we're definitely excited to hear about what you're up to. So let's start by having you tell us about your background and your roles for Accessible Festivals and Inclusion Festival.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a speech language therapist by trade, and I've been on the path of supporting people with disabilities and specifically people who are neurodiverse for many years, first as a special education teacher and then as a speech language therapist. And meanwhile, I was having all of these personal life experiences. My husband introduced me to live music concerts and music festivals over 10 years ago at this point. And there was something about it that I just loved. I think it was the community, and there's just so many things I learned there about self-expression and resilience and building community. And I wanted to share that with everyone. And I thought that there was a lot of value in creating a version of that was really, truly accessible and inclusive. So fast forward a few years, I, kind of had this idea brewing, and I connected with a woman, Leah Barron, who had the same ideas brewing. We met at a music festival, and long story short, it felt like magic when we met, and we decided to make this dream that was in both of our heads a reality. So we created the Inclusion Festival, and we connected with the nonprofit Accessible Festivals, which I am now the executive director of. So we have year-round projects all related to festival accessibility and music accessibility, and now we create this festival as well.
That's wonderful. It's so great. We've had a couple of people on the show who are the teachers, who are special, who do speech therapy. It's great. It's just like everything seems to be connecting. We are so happy to have you on the show. So you're saying that you're a teacher, you're a special, you do have speech therapy as your background, and that your husband also is like into these music festivals. Is that the inspiration behind everything? That's why you're doing this?
Well, it was he who introduced me to music festivals, but it was my personal learning. It was what I experienced at festivals and how it helped me to, kind of feel empowered to be a better version of myself and to feel more free and connected in my everyday life. So it was those kinds of lessons that are kind of intangible, like why learn that at a music festival, but there's something really special about music festivals. When you walk down, when you're at a music festival, there's so many people that actually reach out and want to connect with you, which, you don't necessarily experience on a city or a neighborhood street. So, it was just these ideas and lessons that inspired me and made me feel like it would be a really welcoming and empowering place particularly for people with disabilities.
That's so great.
And music really can bring so many people together in such a positive way. But,
yeah,
a lot of people probably haven't thought about music festivals aren't necessarily accessible. They're not necessarily easy for people who have a special need or a disability. So what are some of those common obstacles for people who have special needs? What might they be facing if they go to a festival?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, music really brings people together. So all these things I'm talking about, the resilience, community, connection, the music is what creates all of that. That's what gets people there. And, people with disabilities might have favorite bands, and I believe every human wants to connect, but a music festival can be really loud, crowded, overwhelming. Porta potties aren't so pleasant. Those are often what's available. And things like that, not knowing, also the unknowing, not knowing what kind of food will be there. So you're not always able to bring your own food to events like this. So all the unknowns, all the noise, all the people. So we designed a festival to be less crowded, the layout is designed to be less crowded. We have a lot of sensory supportive relaxation spaces where people can go to take quiet breaks. We play the music at a lower volume, and we offer supports for decreasing the volume even further. And then, accessibility, we're a small grassroots organization, but we prioritize accessibility in the initial stages of planning, which is what it takes. So, things like American Sign Language and accessible pathways are, a part of the initial plan. They are in the budget, they're not something that we can't afford at the end. There's something we really plan for. Yeah.
Beautiful. You know that, so the festival is coming up on July the 15th, correct?
Yes.
Correct, for 2 days, yes?
Yes. You got it.
It's in Kempton, Pennsylvania, correct?
Yeah. Kempton, Pennsylvania is a sweet little town nestled in the Lehigh Valley of Pennsylvania, northeastern Pennsylvania. And we have community here. It's not far from where myself and Leah live, and it's a really nice place. It's got a lot of infrastructure that makes it really navigable for people of all abilities and allows us to have the amenities that we think are necessary.
Excellent. So if someone's going to attend, what will they expect when they get there? What kind of music will people be expecting?
Yeah, there's a variety of genres. We try to select artists that have positive and uplifting lyrics. It's family friendly and inspirational, but represents like an eclectic array of sounds and genres. We strive to include disabled artists, and we do that. So you'll see a lot of different disabilities represented on our stages. The music played, like I mentioned, at a lower volume, and there's no strobe lighting. So the music is one thing to experience. We also have a wide variety of workshops. Play-based workshops, educational and recreational workshops, art, nature, all different kinds of things. So there's really something for everyone. And there's ongoing activities that are meant to promote relaxation. We think that relaxation is really important for everyone and for everyone's mental health, and just creating and encouraging relaxation is a really big part of what we offer as well.
I saw it on your Instagram recently that there's like a sensory area too, and there were there were headphones that were going to be a part of it. Tell us a little bit more about that, because that seemed really interesting that you have a special area for it.
Yeah, we have several areas for it, all with different themes and different types of sensory supportive options, but specifically headphones. We have noise canceling headphones that can give you a quiet break from the environment. And then we also have wireless headphones in which you can, one, hear the music from the stage, but really control the volume in your own ears. And then we also utilize headphones in some of our relaxation zones. This year, we're very excited to have all these various naturescapes, and we have sounds that you can wear wireless headphones to kind of tune into, like naturescape sounds, and be in an environment inspired by particular aspects of nature, forest, beach, winter.
Beautiful, excellent. So what other types of vendors are going to be there, and do food vendors address the various dietary needs of attendees?
Yes, absolutely. We ensure that food vendors offer an array of options that include gluten and dairy-free and vegan options, healthier foods, and then, more like fair style food. So again, something for everyone with dietary needs in mind. And we have product vendors, things like clothing and jewelry and art, kind of like a craft fair. And then we also have information vendors. So we have local nonprofits and some, regional and more distant nonprofits who are really aligned with this cause, coming to share what they do or just to contribute to the atmosphere in some way.
That's great.
Can you tell us more too about the types of workshops that you have during the festival?
Yeah, sure. So in my personal speech language therapy practice, I really like to incorporate circus props because it's an age appropriate form of play across the lifespan. There's really no age limit on learning how to juggle or playing with a hula hoop. And it's just really, really fun and inviting for a lot of different ages. So we have like what we call a flow zone, where we have ongoing workshops and skill sharing and activities with various flow props or circus props, like I said, juggling, hula hoops, spinning plates, things of that nature. We have a lot of art workshops. So one example that I think is particularly accessible is a meditation through finger painting. I can't think of a more accessible art form. And then, to infuse mindfulness techniques, we hope that there's a lot of takeaways from activities like this, that people can find a sense of like solace and flow and engagement in their everyday lives with things like this. We have things like nature walks. We have panel discussions, one on neurodiversity and one on disability in general. What's another highlight? Drumming's always been a really big hit because it's so soothing and it's healing and it connects all different regions of the brain, as does circus and yoga. We have lots of yoga.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Nice. It's great. Can I come?
Yeah, you're welcome to come. Where do you live?
So much more than music. I mean, it's fully inclusive on all different types of things that are going to speak to so many people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. For some people, the music is the primary, and for some people, the music is the background. But either way,
Right.
it's just unifying and comforting. And so we select the music to be a foreground or background that's beautiful and inspiring for many.
And it's great. And you know what's great? And it sounds like parents can easily get involved as well, you know, and caregivers as well. So it's not just like, you know, it's for everybody. It's so inclusive. It's great.
Yeah, thanks. It really is. We get a lot of questions about, are there kids activities and who is this for and what age is it for? And
Right.
I've been saying it, and I'll keep saying it, it is really for everyone. We don't have a children's workshop and we don't have an adults workshop. They're
Right.
all going to gear towards all abilities, and they're really for everyone. We've seen so much success having children and adults learn side by side, and all developmental levels learn side by side.
That's so great.
Fantastic.
Really is. It's really good. So what other, you talked about the headphones. Okay. So is there any other technology that you have as well to enhance the experience for all attendees?
Yeah, let me give a shout out to some of our sponsors. We've got some really cool items. Access Rec is a New Jersey company that has donated grass mats that will make the grass areas, especially if we get rain, which I hope we don't, but we might, that will make it really easy for wheelchair users to navigate to some of the most main areas. There's lots of pavement too, but that will, we'll use those strategically to make it even easier for wheelchair users. We have a company out of Pennsylvania called Pilestone who donated glasses that correct color blindness for those that are colorblind. So people will be able to check those out and borrow them for several hours and give those a try and see what that experience is like, to see color differently. A very exciting one is we have a wearable backpacks donated by Subpack. That's a company that created these like vibrating backpacks that get paired with the music coming from the main stage. So for patrons that are deaf or hard of hearing, they can literally have a sensory experience where they can feel the music, but you don't have to be deaf to enjoy it. It could be a way to enhance the experience and really embody the experience for anyone. But it's very popular in the deaf community as an alternative to experiencing the sound. I mentioned the wireless headphones, which are an accessibility feature because you can really like change the volume and the sound quality. Yeah, those are some of the biggest things that we have that are, I think very exciting.
How do you find these different organizations? Do you reach out to them and just ask? Do they come to you? I mean, this is such a great collaboration of all of these different places and people that are looking to, do more for your festival.
Yeah, thanks. It's a little bit of both. I do a lot of outreach, and then sometimes we get people that reach out to us. Like I just got an email the other day from a company in Colorado, I think, called Feel the Beat, and kind of similar to the backpacks, they make dance floors that vibrate and activate with the music. And I don't fully understand the technology yet, but they just reached out. So I don't know if it's for this year or next year. We'll have to talk more and see. But yeah, people hear about it. And like, if the cause resonates, people really want to help. And that's been a really beautiful piece of organizing this because it's a lot of work. So the support means a lot.
I could imagine. Can I ask you also, so if I want to come to the festival, how do I stay at the festival, or do I go into a hotel? Where would I?
You can do either. Camping is included in weekend and day passes. So many people do choose to camp on site. And I think that that's a really wonderful experience for families willing to give it a try, because you're in it, like you're kind of part of this temporary community. And those are where some of my best experiences came from, like forgetting something and having like a camp neighbor, be able to help me out. And it's just, that can be a really wonderful way to connect and remember how good humanity can be. So camping, I think, is a fantastic experience for those willing to do it. And again, it's included. We also have a list on our website of area accommodations, hotels, and bed and breakfasts that are in the area for families more comfortable with that. And then, some choose to make it like a day trip, where proximal to a lot of major cities, like Philadelphia and Allentown. We're not far from New York City. So it's a feasible day trip for, families who, would take a day trip to the beach or an amusement park. This is an alternative to something like that.
That's great. There's so many options. So if people are volunteering and want to be a part of the festival, what do they need to do? Do they go online? And even as a volunteer, what should they expect, their role to be? Because there's so many different places and things going on all weekend.
Yeah, thanks for asking that. You can volunteer at inclusionfestival.com/participate and fill out our form. If a Google form is challenging for you, you can also give a call using the phone number and the email address listing at the website, like reach out a different way. There's a lot of different positions. Volunteers truly power this event and make it possible. And we're pretty good. We need a few more volunteers, but we'll get there. We're really close to having our roles filled and then some. So we have specific roles like supporting the front gate operations and helping with the flow of parking and helping in the kitchen to prepare meals for our staff, things like that. And helping in our access center, which is a central point where anyone can go to get accessibility information or general festival information. And then we also have people supporting all of these sensory spaces, just kind of like being hosts, being a welcoming, friendly presence in those spaces that I described and helping out workshop hosts. We also will tailor the roles to any ability. So like often we get like groups of adults with developmental disabilities like come in as a group and we, some of them want to help and some of them don't, but for the ones that want to help, like we just find something that matches their abilities and their interest and we, put them to work for as long as they want to be there. We are very flexible.
I love that. And I love how you have people who have disabilities or special need volunteering, that it's not just about them being helped, but that they can be helpful as well.
Yeah, no, that's really important and empowering. It takes a village, everything.
Most definitely. That's great. So let's talk about cost and the times. How much does this all cost you and how much does it cost everybody to come and what's the time schedule?
Yeah, sure. So remember, first and foremost, we are a nonprofit. So the working plan here is that Inclusion Festival becomes a fundraiser for our nonprofit. A lot of nonprofits have things like galas, but we're accessible festivals. So we have Inclusion Festival. So there is a ticketing fee. Our current advanced rates are $45 for a day pass and $80 for a weekend pass. Children 12 and under are free. If those price points are not accessible, we also have a ticket gift fund that's on our website as well, inclusionfestival.com, under the ticketing link. I think it's /ticket gift fund. Are able to apply for that program and attend the festival for free. We historically and intend to, for all time, grant every request that we get, and the donations make that possible. So, access in all its forms.
That's really great. So is this the first one?
This is the third in-person one. It's the fourth if you count our 2020 virtual festival.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Beautiful. Well done.
Thanks.
So a nice way to wrap it up for us too. Can you tell us what the greatest accomplishments have been for you and a part of the Accessible Festivals and Inclusion Festival?
Well, specifically a lot related to accessible festivals, but I'll stay focused on Inclusion Festival. For me, the biggest measures of success have been the personal anecdotes, the feedback that we've received. So one of my favorite stories is an individual that I know not super well came up to me at a concert, actually kind of recently, a few months ago, and he'd been to one of our inclusion festivals pre-pandemic, and he described a memory where he was dancing during the afternoon at a music performance, and there was a young man next to him who appeared to be on the autism spectrum and was stimming and jumping up and down and just like this pure autistic joy, enjoying the music, and he wanted a high five from this individual who's an acquaintance of mine. So he gave the high five, And they had this moment together. And he said when he gave the high five to the young man with autism, the way that he glowed was like nothing he'd ever seen before. And he said, I realized that the power of a high five was nothing to me, but it was everything to him. And it's really changed the way that I go about life. I like smile at neighbors now. I ask people randomly if they need help. And I never did that before Inclusion Festival, but it made me realize how I could do such little things that actually make a difference, like a high five. So stuff like that, I'm like getting teary, like those things, like, cause again, it's like so much work, but when I get feedback like that like there's this ripple effect, that it's changing people's mindsets, like for real, that's what keeps me going. And that's what I care about the most.
I love it. We love it. We just think this is amazing. We're so grateful for you, and also for the fact is that, you know, noticing that the community needs something like this once just for all of us as well, because I also have a son with special needs. So it's just wonderful to see that you can do something like this. And yes, we know it's hard work, but like you say, when you see those moments, that moment when someone tells you, I just got this glow, I just got this response, and you're like, that's the reason why I'm still doing this, you know. Yes, because it is tough, you know, it's very tough. I totally agree with you, but this is just so different. This is amazing. You know, this is amazing. This is something that I haven't heard of, and it's just wonderful that you're doing this. And we really do praise you and thank you for everything that you're doing and putting this together. I think this is amazing. Everything's inclusive. I mean, everything. It's like what haven't you left out? You know, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
we try really hard, and we try to think about other areas of representation too, like gender and race. And, you know, we're doing our best learning and growing, because I mean, honestly, like it was inspired by individuals with autism, and then we named it Inclusion Festival, and we were like, oh my gosh, inclusion means everyone. And so we've been learning and growing since.
Which is wonderful. You know, it's just fantastic what you're doing, Amy. We're very proud of you. We're thankful that you're doing something so wonderful to include everybody, and also the power of music. My son loves music, and that brings him life. And this community need life, you know. They need to know that they're seen, you know, and not seen somewhere else, you know, but seen out. And it's just a fabulous thing that you're doing. I respect you 100%. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for, you know, helping us get the message out, and for, you know, all you're doing on this podcast to share positivity around these ideas in this community.
We're more than happy to be sharing this message, and please tell everybody where they can find you, find out more information, because I know that people are going to be going onto this website after this pod is out.
Yeah, absolutely. To learn specifically about the festival, it's inclusionfestival.com. And to learn more about what our organization does overall, it's accessiblefestivals.org. We do things like grant tickets to large music festivals throughout the country to disabled individuals and their loved ones all year round. And we consult with organizations of all sizes about making their events more accessible, just to name a few things that we do in addition to this festival.
Incredible stuff. We're going to make sure to put those links on when we when we post this podcast up. So they'll be sure to be able to find those, the links and the information there too. But Amy, thank you again. You are doing incredible work. We are so grateful to have this time with you. And be sure to check us out on YouTube and on Instagram at Special Needs on the Table. And make sure to check out this podcast with Amy and find out more about Inclusion Festival and Accessible Festivals. Thank you again.
Thanks so much.
Amy. Thank you.